Let's take a little tour of the off-camera ratio controls for our speedlights. To do that, we need to activate the menus, navigate to the 7th screen, where we find external speedlight controls. Let's go there and enter. Flash function settings, yes. And now we see a whole bunch of choices. Let's rotate up 2 turns to wireless set. And we need to decide whether we want to enable or disable. Well, we want to work with those slaves, so we need to enable and activate it. Now we see some other choices. The first choice is the master flash. Do we want the master flash, the one in the hot shoe, to contribute to this image? If we do, we enable. If we don't, we disable. Now, I don't care for it working this time, so I'm going to disable it. Next thing that we want to do is make sure that all of our flashes are speaking to each other on the same channel. I've set channel 1 on the slave speedlights. Now, firing groups, A plus B plus C. I always put my A group to the left, my B group to the right. C can be almost anywhere. Let's take a shot and see what we get. Not bad. The ETTL2 did a nice job. All 3 flashes worked in concert and equally to provide an exposure. And the histogram looks great. But let's don't leave well enough alone. Let's exit that. Go to the top of the camera where we're going to activate the flash exposure compensation. We find the graph at the bottom of the screen and we rotate the rear control wheel to add 1 stop. Let's brighten it by a stop. Yeah, it's a little bright. Take a quick look at the histogram and sure enough, we have a little bit of a spike to the right. Let's go back and we're going to reactivate the flash exposure compensation. And let's take a half stop back out of it. Take another shot. Yeah, definitely helped. We still have a bit of a spike, but let's leave that alone for the moment. We're going to go back into the menus, re-enter external speedlight control, flash function settings, yes. Same old thing, rotate 2 clicks to the wireless set, enter. Now let's look at the firing groups. When I enter this submenu, you see I have several choices, A plus B plus C, AB, or A, BC. We're going to go for AB, and it activates the AB fire ratio menu. Notice we default to 1:1, but we're going to enter that submenu, push set, and rotate counterclockwise to send the bulk of the light to the left side speedlight. We fire a test frame. Just as expected, the bulk of the light comes from the left side of the frame. Let's re-enter the speedlight controls, find our way back to the wireless set, re-enter, and go back to the AB fire ratio. Let's take that 8:1 over to the right side of the dial to 1:8. We're going to send the bulk of the light to the right side speedlight, effectively changing our key direction. Nice looking shot. I think I prefer that angle. Let's see what happens when we activate the C group. We've got to find our way back through the various steps to the wireless group and go all the way back down to the firing group. And let's set it to group A, B, C. Now you notice that we've activated Group C exposure compensation. It's not under the ratios in the A and B group, it's separate, and we control its output with over and under exposure compensation. So we can enter that menu, and let's try it 1 stop under. This is the overhead light. Take a look. Well, histogram is a little spiked to the right. I think this exposure might be a little bit hot. I think we're going to have to take a little exposure compensation out of the whole scene, so let's wake up the camera once again, go back to the exposure compensation dial, and now we're going to take it back to even. Fire another test frame. Well, that looks better. The histogram says it's still just a touch hot. Let's go back to the menu, re-enter the Speedlite controls, find our way back to the wireless group, enter and navigate once again back down to the Group C exposure compensation. Let's take another full stop out of it, making it 2 stops under on the C group. That looks much better. We'll bail from the histogram and take a look at the frame. Not bad. Obviously there are a million variations to this theme, but all can be set from the back of the camera.